Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models and Memories Weekly, episode 20. We have done 20 of these. Models and Memories is a show about nothing and it is filmed in front of a live studio audience. And stay tuned all the way till the end to see a montage of painted minis courtesy of the Eob Complete community. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and wargaming experiences from the week, and I end every episode with a story. Now you might think to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 YouTube videos a week and live stream every single night. How? Could you possibly have more to say? Well, I do. And here goes. This week I got to play my very first game of Age of Sigmar, and it was super duper fun. It was a lot like 40k, but it actually had some really nice differences. I haven't played a game of 9th edition 40k yet, so I can't directly compare them to like the current Age of Sigmar 3 and Warhammer 40k 9th edition, but I did play tons of 8th and tons of 7th and tons of 6th. And 40k is the shooting game, and Age of Sigmar seems like it's gonna be a little bit more the combat game. One really cool thing I liked about Age of Sigmar is they have a little bit more randomness to it, because every turn you roll off to see who goes first and second. And so the same person could go second, but then go first to the next round, and you kind of get a little bit of a double turn. But it's not as big a deal as you might think because there's way less shooting. Like in 40k, if you could have 2 turns in a row, you would win like 99% of the time. But another clever thing that Age of Sigmar does is the fighting is back and forth. So if you go first, you will get to fight first with something, but you're not gonna get to fight first with everything. And so that is a big change from 40k, where you go back and forth in your fighting. And the really cool thing about Age of Sigmar is it's a little bit simpler. I don't know if it's just because Age of Sigmar is a way younger game, or if there's way fewer models to pick from, but there's just not as much stuff. I remember when we were playing the game slowly and looking up all the rules and going back and forth, and we're like, can I do this? Well, there's probably something that says you can't do that. Let's look it up. And no, you can just do it. And that was great. Maybe we were getting everything wrong. Hopefully not. Hopefully it is a really simple game. But it seemed really fun, and it seems like there was way fewer stipulations on things you can't do, which is always great. It's always great to be able to do things. It's always a little bit of a speed bump when you have to remember that you can't do things. But Age of Sigmar, we played with the Dominion contents, and it seemed really fun. It seems like they're actually somewhat balanced armies. I won very well with my Stormcast. We played the open war mission, where you just try to kill things, which is a great way to start any game. I don't know if I ever played a game of 6th edition 40k that wasn't just kill everything, because we were in high school, we did not know any of the rules, but we knew the gist. And so we would just bring whatever we owned and just smash them together and see what happened. Great, I'm sure that's how almost everyone starts, and it's always glorious. Although I do now in my old age, I really do like missions and objectives, because it makes the game feel a little more tactical, and you make more decisions, not just based on will X kill Y, but can X get to this point and fend off attacks from this thing, or can I use my fly keyword and my stratagem to get me, to hop, skip, and jump over to where I need to get them to. I like having a lot of different objectives. So this week I've had Age of Sigmar on the brain, and Games Workshop was nice enough. Last week they showed off a big old dragon model that I'm pretty excited about. It's a pretty classic dragon. It's a good, honest dragon. It's not showing off, it's not trying to do anything subversive or interesting. It's just a good, old-fashioned dragon, and this week they showed off more, and honestly, I'm actually more excited about this week's dragons than last week's dragons. They seem like a lot of fun. Just two dragons with the new Stormcast on them. I'm assuming that these North Stormcast are gonna be the Thunderstrike Stormcast, like all of the Dominion models were, but good dragons. And it really kind of gets me excited because I love having options to do whatever you want. And so it seems like now you've got the big dragon, you've got the medium dragons, you've got all of the different Drake models, the Storm Drake or the Thunder Drakes or the Lizard Drakes or the Lightning Drakes, whatever they're called. I know Age of Sigmar so well. Whatever they're called, it seems like you could probably do an Oops All Dragon army for Age of Sigmar, and I think that would be really fun. You could probably even, there's a unit called the Griffhounds, which are little dog birds. You could probably find a 3D print of some little baby dragons, and it would be awesome. A Oops All Dragon army would probably be super fun, especially because I believe you can bring a leader on like a Star Drake. And so you could literally have all of your models be dragons. And I love stuff like that. It gives you some great opportunities to like have almost a theme going through your army. I love stuff like that. You can see it really simply in armies like the Orcs. The Orcs just got a whole bunch of squig units, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of the squig aesthetic, I love that it exists because I want to see somebody who is a big fan of the squig aesthetic, I want to see them go all out on a squig army. And Orcs, they probably have the most diversity in like the 40k range, because you can go Green Tide with just boys and Gretchen and knobs. You can go kind of like mechanized with lots of trucks and battle wagons. You can go like mech with the Gorkanaut and Morkanauts and the Mega Knobs. You can go like bike heavy with bikes and buggies, or now you can go squig. And that's just so cool that there's so much stuff available. But one thing that 40k does seem to really be struggling with is bloat. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, how can you have a game with 10 trillion different units in it that all have to be somewhat balanced against each other? And I mean, balance that. How do you take that giant swimming pool of available options and make it into a coherent game? And I'm not sure what to think about this, because I've been playing since, 6th edition, and I've heard this entire time that 40k is a complete mess and a disaster. And yet it has continued and people enjoy it and they play it. But I do know that tons of people did jump ship to 30k because everything being Space Marines, there being way less units, and they're way more strict about what you can take, and so I bet that does make for a much more balanced game. But is there a happy medium between the craziness of 40k and, a really, really tight game like a 30k? Does it even matter? Is it really come down to personal preference? I almost wonder if it's kind of like how with video games, everyone can just know what video games they like, because you just buy it, it teaches you how to play, you play it. It's like, I don't play that much video games. I've never played that much video games, but I've probably played like 30 different video games. So I really know what I like. I've played like 2 or 3 war games, and I'm probably only ever gonna get to play like 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 war games, but I'm gonna be an 80-year-old man. And so I'm just not gonna get to experience everything there is to experience with wargaming. And so, because maybe the perfect game for me is Drop Zone Commander. Maybe if I tried out that game, it would tick all the boxes and become my favorite thing in the world, but all I've experienced is like 40k and Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, X-Wing, and so I don't know that the perfection is out there. And so maybe that's why everyone's opinions on wargames are so harsh, because they need the wargame to fit them. And when they feel like it doesn't fit, it's like, well, I've already poured so much blood, sweat, tears, and money into this game. I need it to do what I need it to do. But I don't know. Although I think all of these games are fun, and I think really it comes down to like who you're playing with and why you're playing. If everyone's there to have fun, you're probably gonna have fun. If you're playing with people, I've played with someone who, really, really enjoyed winning, and that can be kind of miserable. But you just don't play with them, and it becomes easy. So maybe it's not that big a deal. 30k, 40k, Age of Sigmar, trying to find the perfect game. Maybe you just try to have fun. Who knows? Maybe that's craziness. But I do like the options. I hope that every army in 40k, and maybe in Age of Sigmar, just gets buttloads of stuff. I mean, with Necrons now, they got like 15 new units this year, which is bananas. Like doubles what's available to the Necrons. It's pretty neat. I'm assuming that's gonna happen with the Eldar, right? The Eldar haven't really gotten much of anything. I think they got like 2 models over the last 10 years, and they were both HQs. But oh no, the Howling Banshees. They got a thing. But I'm assuming that a range refresh is coming for the Eldar, and it'll probably be glorious. I could see them maybe doubling down on like the Wraith constructs, and like you can already kind of bring a Wraith construct army, but it's just the Knights and the Lords and the regular guys. But it'd be cool if they maybe doubled down with that, like just straight up made them the Protoss from StarCraft and gave them like hover Wraith tanks and hover Wraith Lords and flying buildings. But I can't wait for the Eldar to get an update for 2 reasons. Number 1, I think it'll be really cool because I bet it'll be really different to what we're used to, because like the new orcs pretty much look like the old orcs, but I don't think that the new elves are gonna look like the old elves. I think they're gonna look really, really, really different. And so I'm really excited to see what they do with it. And the second reason is I want the Eldar players to shut up about how badly they want new stuff. It'll happen one day. But that's what I'm really looking forward to. But now I've played my first game of Age of Sigmar, I feel like I have a basic grasp of the rules and a basic grasp of the world. I'm halfway through my Age of Sigmar audiobook, Soul Wars, which is very good, surprisingly good. It's better than most of the 40k books I've read. But I've been going through the Age of Sigmar range with a fine-tooth comb because now I'm like, I might buy some of this stuff. And I've always had my heart set on the Seraphon. But a new contender has entered the ring. And it might be the Caradron Overlords, the flying steampunk dwarves, for two reasons. I actually do think they look pretty dope. And it's a small model count army with a lot of vehicles. And I don't know why, but it seems like I hate vehicles. I have like 800 painted miniatures in my collection, and like 10 of them are vehicles. And half of those are painted. Like I don't know why, but I always seem to avoid vehicles in favor of infantry and characters and elite units and stuff. And so I think I would love to tackle the Caradron Overlords, because it's gonna be like 10 guys and 3 boats, and then it's done. And that sounds pretty awesome to me right now. One day I would love to do the skinks, because I love every single model in that army, but right now I'm not feeling like painting 80 skinks and like 20 Saurus warriors and a couple dozen of the blow dart chameleon guys. It's just not, it's not sparking the joy. It's coming. One day I'll really want to do that, but right now I feel like I could paint a couple of dwarves on a boat. That's really jingling my jangles. And so I think that might be my next big thing for wargaming is some Caradron Overlords. After I pad out my current Stormcast Eternals, because I really do like the new Stormcast Eternals, and I had a lot of fun with them in this game I played. But yeah, I would never have thought it. Like if you had asked me last year, what do you think of the Caradron Overlords? I would have been like, oh, the steampunk dwarves, who cares? No, ugh. But I kind of dig them. I like the good guys in Age of Sigmar. I don't think there's any of the good guys I don't like. There's some of the bad guys I'm not that big a fan of, but every faction of Order, it's called Order, Destruction, Chaos, and Death, which made no sense to me until I've actually like learned about it, because doesn't destruction lead to a little bit of death? Aren't often deaths chaotic? Like I didn't understand what the different things meant. It makes sense now, but I always thought it was kind of funny because there's order, you know, things make sense. And then death, destruction, and chaos all feel like the same exact thing. It's like Yoda's quote from episode 3, like fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. But doesn't suffering cause hatefulness? And why does fear lead to anger? Like it doesn't make any sense. None of those movies made any sense. But yeah, I'm feeling the Caradron Overlords. I wouldn't have thought it, but I think I want to paint up some dwarves. Please let me know in the comments below, are you guys interested in Age of Sigmar content? I know 40k is way more popular. Like there's 40k is mega popular, and then under that is Space Marines, and then under that is Age of Sigmar. But let me know, like, are you guys pumped for Age of Sigmar content? And if you are pumped for Age of Sigmar content, or you're just pumped for our content, the best way to support us is by becoming a member of our Patreon. Over there, you'll get some behind the scenes, voting on what models I paint live on YouTube, a live hobby hangout every single week, and more. But that is what I did for Wargaming this week, a lot of Age of Sigmar, but it was really, really fun. Now, this show is called Models and Memories Weekly because I always end it with a story about the models and the attached memories I have for them. And so this week, I want to talk about this little guy. Now, hopefully most of you recognize what this is. This is one of those rare earth metal kits. And I remember one year while I was in college, I came home for Christmas and I didn't have any paints, I didn't have any models, I didn't have any fun. I was like reading books and studying, it was horrible. But I went out Christmas shopping with my sister and I decided to get myself one of these kits because it was super, super cheap. And I thought, hey, this will be a fun way to do a little bit of modeling over the holidays and still kind of be part of my hobby. And this little rare earth ATST is the hardest kit I have ever put together. This was agonizing. Like, I put together those MDF kits. I had almost half finished that kit, and it was a slog. I think this was worse. Number one, I didn't have any of my tools, so I had to use like the plastic tweezers that we have in like the kitchen junk drawer. It's a really, really hard kit. I think I used a pocket knife to like cut all the little sprue off because it comes in these incredibly small and sharp sheets of like, I don't know if they're etched metal or like press stamped metal, but it really, I mean, once you get it all together, it really looks like something. These are cool. I've actually dropped this multiple times, and that's why it's this rattly. They're not supposed to be like that, but it really, really looks snazzy. But holy cow, I was shocked at the undertaking because it was like, I think I probably started it at like 5 in the afternoon, and it was like midnight. It took forever to build this thing. And a part of what took so long is because everything is so delicate. And so you have to use the tweezers and you like bend the little tabs and you fit them in the slot. And then you kind of like twist the tab, but not too much because they'll break. You just twist them enough to like lock the metal in place. And really carefully cutting things off. Because it's not like I built, like sometimes with the MDF kits, you can just kind of rip things off the sprue. You can't rip this, but really kind of an interesting thing. I think I would suggest most people try out one of these things because it's fun and interesting in a different way than normal kits. Because they're a lot more challenging. They're a lot more delicate. Like I think if I was gonna try another one of these, I'd probably put on my micro glasses so that I could see what I was doing. But they really do give a great result when it's all done. And they're cool. And I know, I mean, there's a whole range of Star Wars ones, and so I think I might need more Star Wars kits. I love the Imperial, so maybe I need an AT-AT, or I think I saw a pretty cool speeder bike one. But yeah, the rare earth metal kits. Really, really interesting, really tricky. I almost feel like these could be like a rite of passage, like I built one of the rare earth metal kits. And some of them might be easier than others, like maybe this one just is really complicated. These legs, there's a lot going on with those legs. But another thing I was thinking about when looking at this model, because this model is Christmas to me. I remember like a day before Christmas, sitting in the kitchen, putting this together, and probably eating gingerbread and stuff. And I don't know, I've always heard people talk about giving miniatures as gifts. I don't think that's a good idea. I think miniatures can be a great gift. Like if you want to give a gift to one of your gaming buddies, I think a great way to do it would be like, you know, they have an Eldar army, you get themselves an Eldar HQ, you paint it up real nice, you give it to them. That is a great gift. It shows you care. It's something they're interested in. It's gonna be great. They're gonna play with it all the time. They're gonna associate it with you. 10 out of 10 gift. Don't give a model to your mom. I think the thing of gift giving is you want to show the person that like that you see them and that you care about them. And I think a gift a little more personal is better, even if it's something dumb. Like, cause I'm just imagining like, you know, if I was giving a gift to my little sister and I gave her a Space Marine, in her mind, you know, she's gonna be like, oh, nice, thanks. But in her mind, she's gonna be like, you've known me our entire lives. And you couldn't think of anything to get me, so you got me something you like? Like it's a little, it's not rude, but it feels a little rude. It comes from a very nice place. But are you guys hearing me at all? Like it's weird, like, cause it is something that I like, is miniatures. But that's just me, they like other things. It would be way more meaningful if I got them like the soap they really like, or something that they've needed. Like that's what a gift should do, cause the gift, you can give someone anyone and they're gonna like it because it's a gift. But the way to do a good gift is to give people something that shows them that you know them as a person and care about them. And I think a miniature is rarely that thing. Like clearly if you give a miniature to your mom, she's gonna be like, oh great, sweetie, good job, pat on the head, because she's your mom and she knows how to receive bad gifts because she's gotten them her whole life from you. But yeah, I don't think miniatures make great Christmas gifts or birthday gifts. I think steer clear. Maybe come out, you know, open the door of your miniature hobby and step outside for just, you know, a few hours to shop for a gift for someone that you care about. and then you can hop right back in the miniature bunker. You know what? When you're out shopping for them, get yourself something nice. And then you give them the nice, quilted pillow or fun poster or DVD of a movie they really like, and then come back and paint the Space Marines that you also bought for yourself. I think that is the proper way to do Christmas. So this rare earth ATST that reminds me of Christmas and family is my story for this week, and it brings this episode of Models Memories to a close. Like I said at the beginning, we've done 20 of these, so there is plenty to listen to if you like these. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and now it is time for the real star of the show, this week's Eob Complete Submissions. We put out a challenge to our community to send us before and after photos of their recently finished models to be immortalized in our videos. If you want to join in the fun, you can submit a before and after photo of your painted mini to our Discord server, which you can find in the description below, or you can post it to Instagram with the hashtag EOBComplete. Without further ado, let's look at and get inspired by what the folks have finished this week. A Typhus Herald of the Plague God by Witness My Minis, a Dragon Skull Hermit Crab by Chainer, a Trebuchet by My Tabletop Standard, a squad of Classic Space Marines by Lucas, a Primaris Captain by Shark, a Nighthaunt Black Coach by Phoenix, a Dwarf Adventurer by Daddy Durkadurk, a Commissar Severina by Dark Lord Budish, a Space Wolf by Burke, some Kitbash Necrons by Bastion, a Black Templar Space Marine by Commander Cadre, some Phantoms from Dark Souls by Lord Buttersteak, a Tau Krutox Rider by Nene Goblin, a Primaris ATV by Alfarius, some Necron Warriors by Relish, a Knight in Shining Armor by Squire the Mad, a Sister of Battle Canoness by Void, a Blood Bowl Minotaur by Hollow Poncho, a Chaos Terminator by Darth Jig, some Droidicas from Star Wars Legion by Caro the Avenger, a Primaris Lieutenant by Mata Tabletop, some Primaris Reavers by Dark Wooly, some Assault Centurions by Digaduler, a Space Wolf Captain by Big Pig, a Tau Fireblade by Mezreg, a Stormcast Eternal by the letter K2, and some Chaos Space Marines by Stan. Congratulations to everyone for a job well done. It's no small feat to get paint on minis, and you all should feel really proud. Nothing gets the hobby juices flowing like finishing a project, and we all thank you for sharing your work, motivating us and the hobby community to paint our plastic. Thanks for sharing.